Welcome back to another Table Talks. I'm your host, Joshua Kangley, and I have another great conversation for you today. I am very excited about our next guest, and I think the conversation that we had is very relevant and timely and very important for a lot of families out there today. Our guest today is Milagros Russell, who goes by Millie, and she is an author, coach, speaker, and consultant. Millie is passionate about supporting others on their journey to holistic healing, and walking boldly in their God-given purpose. Her book, It Ends With Me, takes readers through a powerful journey of spiritual restoration. In this book, you'll walk with Millie, a mother who found the terrifying brink of losing her daughter to suicide, only to discover a deeper call to confront and heal generational pain. An important book that I am so glad is out there in the world today. And you're going to meet this fantastic writer today. So without further ado, please let's welcome our guest, Milagros Millie Russell. Welcome to the show, Millie.
Thank you for having me, Joshua. I'm
Yes.
very excited about this conversation.
Now, before we begin digging into her book and some of these subjects, I asked her to share a little bit about herself.
My name is Milagros Russell, and all of my friends call me Millie, so please feel free to call me Millie. I am a wife of almost 28 years. I'm a mother of two adult girls. They're still little girls to me, but Jordan is almost 25 and Jasmine is 20. By day, I am an entrepreneur who owns a consulting company with a business partner. And I also write. So I'm a new author, a speaker, a life coach, and just so excited to see what life has to offer in this season of my life.
Seasons of life. I think it's important for us to realize that we do go through seasons. It gives us perspective and helps us with some framework to not only navigate in the current season we find ourselves in, but to prepare, plan for the future. In this season of Millie's life, she finds herself writing as a published author and sharing her story to others. She wrote the book, It Ends With Me, and we discussed that.
First and foremost, the inspiration came. Okay, so let me take you back to 2019. My oldest daughter attempted to commit suicide. And so, right after Christmas 2019, she was admitted to the hospital and spent a week in emergency psychiatric care and behavioral hospital, the local behavioral hospital. And as we went through the journey of treatment and started to unpack why she did what she did, one of the things that came back to us was there was a great deal of pressure that she felt like we were putting on her, and she couldn't handle it. So in treatment, I realized that I was the source of that pressure, and that pressure was handed down to me by my family. I was the firstborn, first gen college graduate, so just a lot of high expectations. And what I realized is that I raised my children the same way, but they were not as resilient as I was. So that's part of it. And of course, the book is a journey of that, plus my lived experiences. And I also got my master's degree in counseling and have done a lot of research in family systems and have always been drawn to that work. So you all get the benefit of all of that in a book.
Writing a book like this takes a lot of courage. And as a writer myself, it can be a challenging balance of bringing up personal moments and sharing that with others in a book. Often these personal moments involve other people. So there's this additional balance of getting your truth out there, to help others and respecting others involved. It's something that I've personally grappled with, not to mention the experience of reliving it, writing it down. It gets it out of you. And I think there's a healing in that as well. And I often wonder how other writers experience this. So I asked Millie how she balanced her own vulnerability while writing this book.
Yeah, so that's a great question. It took me from start to handing in, submitting my manuscript for editing and publishing 18 months. So there would be days that I would write, and first of all, I need to tell everyone that I asked my oldest daughter for permission to share her story. So she said, "Hey, mom, if that's going to help people, let's do it." So I did that first. So I would never share her story without her permission, because that's pretty deep and that's a lot of business to put out in the world. Um, so with that, with her being vulnerable and transparent, it actually inspired me to share stories for the sake of healing and delivering other people. So, in the journey of writing the book, 18 months, there were days that I would start writing and I had to walk away, and process my own emotions, and deal with all of the flooding memories that came back. And through prayer and journaling and, and there were people that I had to make amends with, because you can't write a book like this and not be the first partaker of healing. So part of that 18 months was not just the writing, but the processing, the stepping away and doing the hard work myself. And I had to go apologize to some people. And that was actually kind of shocking to me, that much conviction would come from writing this book, and to understand what unforgiveness might still be in my heart too, and to make amends with that as well.
In her work, counseling, mentoring, and speaking, I wanted to know if she's noticed a common thread or a challenge that parents face when working through these generational hand me downs, as Millie describes them.
What's interesting is that often I will get emails, texts, social media messages from people about how this resonates with them. And there are so many people struggling with the same generational cycles. My undercover people pleasers always come out of the closet, to let me know that resonated with them. And, in a world that just seems like there are no boundaries, people really resonate with, understanding what unhealthy boundaries are and how to reestablish those. So yeah, parents, if they're willing to be vulnerable and share, they typically tell me everything, in this book really lands.
A powerful book like this has the opportunity to create ripple effects, helping others in their healing journey. It can impact generations, which, now that I think about it, is perfect because Millie is helping others break free from generational baggage with a book that can impact generations in a positive, healing way. I asked Millie what she hopes the ripple effects are for this book and the work she does.
Yeah, so I hope that families are healed. And I hope there's some restoration that happens for families too. Um, so there, I don't know about everybody else, but I will speak for my family. On both sides of my family, there are people not talking to each other. So my prayer and my hope is that, as this book reaches, the globe, which is also my prayer, that this will have global reach, that families will find the healing that they need and have the conversations they need to have to restore their family unit. So the book was written as a coaching manual, So it's not necessary to read it from end to end. The first couple of chapters provide context for the book. So if you read the first couple chapters, it'll give you the understanding. And then you can go to specific generational hand-me-downs that resonate with you and your family. And it's designed to have conversation about it, to be transparent, to do the hard work either individually or together.
Breaking free from generational paradigms is something I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. The pain, the suffering, the behaviors and habits, those all might have been handed down to them and they don't even realize it. And some people might feel overwhelmed by this or not even know how to quote, end it with me as the title of her book. So I asked Millie what she would say to those people.
So here's the thing, we're responsible for ourselves, right? So I'll start there. So we are not responsible for our families. We're responsible for, our parents, our families could have put the burden of these generational hand-me-downs on us. That's not our fault, but it is 100% your responsibility to get the healing you need, especially when you become aware. So if you're aware, I would say, be courageous and do the work to get the healing. Now, my guess is everybody wants everyone in their family to experience the same thing, but not everybody wants that. So, what I did for myself is I made sure that I did the work to get the healing that I need. And then I facilitated that with the three people that I lived with because I did harm to those three people, my husband and my two children. So that was my responsibility. As far as the people who are my family that live outside of my house, that's their responsibility. And I don't take that burden on. But I will tell you that members of my family outside of the people who live with me have been doing the hard work and they have been healing. So it starts with you. So I would say start with you.
We can't change the past. We can't change what has happened in our lives. And as Millie said, our responsibility doesn't lie in those of others, it lies in ourselves and what we can do now to start breaking free, to start ending the generational baggage, and to not hand it down further, but to stop it, to end it with me. And one thing that has really changed my life and my thinking is being more in the now, because that's all we really have is now. So we can't let the past continue to hold us in these chains, to control us. We have to start breaking free from that by being more present in the now, because the now that I just spoke of is already gone. We just have this now, right now. And right now, I'm with you. And I hope that as you listen to this conversation, it moves you in a direction of healing. There's a quote by Eckhart Tolle, and he said, realize deeply that the present moment is all that you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life.
And Joshua, I would say this too. If you're not willing, there's some information to unpack there too and understand why you're not willing. What I realize is that some people aren't willing because it garners them attention. The unhealed version of them gets attention, so if that is the intention behind not getting healing, then you're not going to want to be healed. There's something to unpack if you don't think you can be healed.
It is kind of a silly question because the answer, of course, is usually always Amazon. But I did ask Millie where we could find her book, It Ends With Me. And everybody, I recommend this book. And I will make sure to put links in the show notes of this episode to where you can go to get it.
Yeah, so it's on definitely on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and the majority of digital platforms. So it's on 70 plus platforms. So whichever one is your favorite one, that's where you can find it. Most of my readers are Amazon customers. So of course, that's where most of the orders come from.
Millie has been busy in this season of her life. Not only has she wrote the book It Ends With Me, but she also has another book called Fruit of the Holy Spirit. And she wrote this book along with her publisher, Ellie Rahman, and has another book due to be released in November called Living Full.
Not only did I write It Ends With Me this year, but I've written another book in collaboration with her, which is called Fruit of the Holy Spirit, and that was released last month. And then I am currently writing on another book, and that will be released November 28th, and that's called Living Full. And it's a guided journal for a healthy lifestyle. So it's all about stewarding your body well.
We talked more about her book, Fruit of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so there are 9 fruit, if you will, that are gifts of the Holy Spirit. So, Christians are characterized or should be characterized by being patient, loving, gentle, kind, having self-control, being faithful. And so these are those gifts that are given to us by the Holy Spirit. So the book is all about um, dissects each fruit and tells you what the fruit is, gives you biblical context about the fruit and how it should show up in a person's life. So it's a great biblical educational tool for people.
Looking ahead, I asked what else she has planned as her books and her story gets out there and her audience grows.
So I'm not as young as I think I look. I'm not really sure, Joshua. I would have told you retirement. But then, in 2025, this whole author, career has started. So my heart's desire is that um, the books that I write will reach the audiences that need them the most. And that maybe, I'll be doing speaking engagements and traveling the world, ministering to people, ministering deliverance and healing to people through the work, the books that I write.
Time for the final thoughts. I always like to leave the last word with the guests. So here is the final word with Millie.
What I'd like to let them know is healing is your responsibility. What happened to you wasn't wasn't your fault, but healing is definitely your responsibility. And I am praying for every person in this world whose heart is hurting, and praying for you to find what it is you need to heal.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in. And a big thank you to Millie. Thank you, Millie, for sharing your story. Thank you for being a guiding light to us all. Milagros, Millie Russell, another guiding light, proof to us that the world today may be different. It may be scary sometimes, but there is more good in the world. And through these conversations, I hope it shines a light on that goodness. Check out the links in the show notes to find Millie's book, or you can go to Amazon and type in It Ends With Me by Milagros Russell. And for more positivity, good news, and uplifting messages, go to guidinglights.org. That's www.guidinglights.org. That's all for today's show. Thank you again for listening. Stay well, my friends. Stay blessed. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.